Hey y'all, welcome to Cheers Sir. Glad you're here with us. We're going to be doing a really fun recipe today. We're going to be doing some grilled flat irons, some braised leeks, and a date and harissa sauce. It's going to be super, super fun. So let's get right to it, right? So we're going to get a carbon steel pan, super, super hot, right over here. Little bit of canola oil, just a little bit, and get that nice and hot. And while that's going, we might as well introduce the wine for today, since this is going to be going in the leeks, right? So we're going to be pairing this today with our Herzog Quartet red blend. Super, super yummy. Very nice, great tannin structure, lush. Lots of red fruit coming into the front. Super, super nice. It's going to be great with our nice lean steak, and especially great with the harissa, I think. Kind of that sweet and spicy playoff. So this is getting hot. We have our oven set to about 350, 400 degrees. We're going to just barely trim off these ends. That is what's keeping the leek together, so we don't want to cut the whole thing off, and we want to leave this nice cross section. Our mashgias have been very careful in washing these and making them absolutely beautiful. So we're basically waiting for this to be quite literally smoking hot. And while that's going, we can get started with our sauce as well. So what we've done, or we can start explaining it. So what we've done to kind of prepare ourselves for this is we have some medjool dates. You can use any dates. I prefer medjool. They have almost like a butterscotch-like flavor to them. They're absolutely delicious. And we've just soaked these in water so they're nice and soft. We have some harissa powder, some garlic and shallots, some olive oil, and some red wine vinegar. Now this is definitely hot enough. I can see it smoking, so we're going to put these cut side down. And then we're just going to take another heavy pan, lay it right on top just as a press, and give those a nice sear. So we're going to turn on our pot here, add a little bit of our olive oil. Next, we're going to add our shallots. All right, shallots take longer than garlic to cook, so we're just going to cook these just until they're almost translucent, and then we will add in our garlic. Turn off the heat. You don't want to start a fire. And we're gonna add some of our lovely wine. Season each leek with a little salt and a little pepper, and then pop these in the oven while we finish everything else off. So those are gonna go right in the oven just to get nice and soft. All right, our shallots are just about there. So now we're going to add in our garlic. And to that as well, we're going to add in our harissa. This is going to be really nice. It's going to kind of toast off all the spices that are in that powder. And this pan is hot, so we're going to do this kind of off the heat. This is how this is looking. I am going to add just a bit more olive oil, just so we can cook off those spices. We're going to add a good pinch of salt. And lastly, our dates. So we're not going to add all of the water that the dates have been soaking in, but we will save it for when we blend this, just to give everything the consistency that we're looking for. All right. So now we're going to take this mixture here, turn off our flame, transfer this into our blender. Put a lid on here and blend. Like I said, we are going to have to add some of this kind of date water in. Kind of help everything along. Just nice and smooth. Looking for more of a paste-like consistency for this application. I mean, you can go as thin or thick as you'd like. If you don't have a blender, you could certainly do this in a food processor. That's perfect. And then we're just going to finish with a little bit of red wine vinegar. Yeah, and that's spot on. Perfect. So that's finished and ready. Our leeks are working. And while those are going, we will meet you outside at the wood fire grill and start grilling off those flat irons. All right, guys, so now that we are out at the grill, we're going to start grilling off our flat irons. We have two really, really lovely flat irons here. We butchered out the sinew that runs through the center. So these are nice and they're marbled and they shouldn't have any of that chew that people, you know, don't like with the flat irons. If you don't take that time to butcher out that sinew, it can get quite a bit tough. So we're going to do a couple things. So first, we have some melted beef tallow here, and we're going to brush our steak with that beef tallow. And you can use, we like beef tallow here because we have it, right? And it also adds a ton of flavor, but you can use any kind of oil if you don't have beef tallow. What the beef tallow does for the steak is it helps more evenly distribute the heat of the fire and gives for a better crust. So what I just put on there is a mix of 2 parts salt, 1 part smoked paprika, and 1 part black pepper. All right, and as you can see, these are pretty thin. Once you take off that sinew, you're not left with much, but what you are left with is a really, really delicious steak. So these shouldn't take too much time to cook at all. We're going to brush the other side with some of that beef tallow. And maybe in a future video, we'll show y'all how we make our beef tallow here. We try not to waste anything, so any scraps of fat and anything like that, we grind down and turn into tallow. It's super, super fun. All right, so we're gonna let this cook for about 1.5 minutes on one side. We're gonna flip it, and then we're gonna do 1.5 minutes, flip it, 1.5 minutes, flip it, 1.5 minutes. Should be nice. Each time we're gonna rotate so we get those really nice grill marks. This is a very, very hot. You can't hold your hand there for more than 5 seconds. It's pretty dang hot. Very hot grill. What we use here at Harissa, we use a mixture of white oak and mesquite, and that's kind of the mix that we use. Super nice, gives great flavor. That beef tallow, the fat that you use to rub on that meat before you season as well, is going to help pick up those really delicious smoky aromas that are going to come off of this wonderful wood. All right, so we're going to flip these one more time. Reason why we flip and then flip and then flip and then flip rather than leaving and doing a hatch mark and then flipping there's a French term for it. It's called the cuisson. So it's the cuisson of the steak, or the doneness of the steak. What this is going to ensure is that we're looking for a nice, on these because they're a little bit leaner, we're looking for a nice medium rare. And that's going to leave them nice and juicy, especially with that carryover cook while we allow them to rest. But with flipping them multiple times, that's going to create, when you're looking at the cross section of your steak, sometimes if you cook it too long on either side, you'll see the degree of doneness will be a lot of gray, and then you'll hit your degree and a lot more gray on the other side, right? This ensures that we get kind of more of an even gradient cook. So the term for that is the cuisson, if you're ever wondering what people are talking about in any other cooking videos that you're watching out there. All right, we're just gonna flip this one last time. All right, and that does it for these steaks here. I'm gonna pull these off. and we're going to let these rest. What this is going to do, it's going to allow the juices to kind of go back into the steak, right? Instead of when you slice it, them all running out. But the other thing that you're going to get too is something called carryover cooking. And right now we're sitting at about rare, but with the outside heat penetrating, it will slowly penetrate over the next few minutes, 10-ish minutes, and that will bring it up to the temperature that we like. So we'll see you back inside where we finish the dish. All right, so our steaks are resting, our leeks are in, our sauce is finished, and we just have one more component that we're gonna do really quickly. So we use the bottom half of the leek for our braised leeks, nice and tender. But it occurred to me we need something with texture, something a little bit crispy. So we're gonna use the top half of the leek and slice them very, very thin as you possibly can. Now note, the farther that you get up, the more woody or tough the leek's gonna be. Us slicing it so thin should kind of fix that, as well as we are going to fry this and give us a nice kind of crispy garnish for our steak. Now, while you're frying, you're gonna wanna make sure to continuously stir if you can. That way, everything gets crispy equally together and the stuff on the outside doesn't cook faster than the things on the inside. Otherwise, you'll end up with burnt leeks on the outside, raw leeks in the middle, and nobody likes that. And we're just gonna cook these until they're nice and golden brown. If I could give you any advice while cooking these, it would be right before you think they're done, pull them out, because they will continue to cook when they are out of the oil. And again, you'll end up with burnt leeks, and nobody likes that. So we're gonna drain these, transfer into a bowl, season with a little salt and pepper. Perfect, now we have our little crispy leek garnish, fantastic. Our steaks are looking absolutely gorgeous. Now, you can serve these however you'd like. I am going to serve them sliced. Little trick for you, when you're slicing steaks, that last slice, just take it and flip it. Going the other way. Now notice, since we took our time, we took the time to let these rest. These did rest for, at least 10 minutes. No weeping at all. All of the juices have gone back into the steak. All right, so let's pull out our leeks. Our plates. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is take some of our really nice date and harissa puree here. Nice dollop on one side. We're just gonna go straight across with that. Next, our lovely leeks. Now, the great thing about these is they have layers, right? So if that bottom one does get a little bit too charred for your liking, can always remove it. Next, our beautiful steak right on top. I'm going to top it off with just a little more of that sauce. Some of our crispy leeks. These came out absolutely perfect. Always makes me happy. Grilled flat iron steak, date and harissa puree, and some braised leeks with our Harissa quartet. Let's dig in, right? Really excited. Should be super nice. The cook on this, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but it's pretty perfect. I really like that combination of the harissa and the dates. Kind of the sweet and the spicy, the cinnamon coming through. And yeah, the wine goes excellently, can stand up to the meat. Also kind of that lush red fruit kind of counterbalances that spiciness in the harissa and the dates. Really, really nice. Hope you all make this. Enjoy.